My computer. All right, so another Zoom presentation with the Playa Tesoro gang here. We're all excited about having our guest tonight to share some knowledge about the country, residency requirements, citizenship, because we've been talking to people for months about all the different ways that people can, not only move down there to have a place to live that's beautiful on a beach, but actually work legitimately, start businesses, and so on and so forth. So tonight's topic is really about creating online business or in-person businesses while you're there. If you're one of the folks that want to move down, some people are just coming to be vacationers and snowbirds, and that's fine. Some people may be part-time residents, and some people may be full-time residents. So we have a real combination. And so thanks everyone for coming on. I'm Marcy, by the way, and I haven't met everybody here. I see some new faces. And welcome, Jolene, and I saw there was somebody else named Cassie, and then some familiar faces here as well. So we'll get started in a moment. And I just want to introduce my partner, Patrick Bermel, who I've known for 35 years, like since we were 4 years old, okay?
Oh, exactly. Let's go with that.
We're as young as we feel. So we've been on this project, it feels like for a long, long time, but it's only been about 5.5, maybe 6 months. But a lot has happened, and it's a very exciting process to bring together a community like this. And many of you know us. Some of you that don't will get to know us. But like Pat said, we're excited to share what life is like for those of us that want to make this move. And so we want to make sure that before you get off the call tonight, that any questions you have, there's no stupid questions. So feel free to just post them in the chat or put your hand up, and we'll make sure to get to those questions for you. So without further ado, Pat, do you want to introduce Paul before we go through any PowerPoint? Maybe just to give a little background on how we met Paul.
Sure. Well, Paul was referred to us. We were looking for a hi, Paul. That's Paul. And Paul's in Managua, I believe. He's in Nicaragua and in the capital, and is an attorney there who's been working with people who are looking for residency in the country and under different programs. So he's an expert on that, has been doing it for many, many years, and is here to speak a little bit about that process for those of you. We have some people on the call who have already bought units and are coming into as owners of a home within the community, and some of you are looking at that right now. But I think a lot of you, regardless, are interested in the residency question. And so we have the source here who can explain a little bit more about that and maybe take some questions as well. So thrilled to have Paul with us today. Thank you for joining us, Paul.
My pleasure. How are you, everybody? As Patrick says, I am Paul Tucker. I am a Nicaraguan lawyer, and I have been working on this area for more than 22 years, assisting foreign people to apply and obtain residency in Nicaragua. So I am going to be very happy to help you.
Fantastic. So if we have questions that we've been getting from some of our buyers, things like, what kind of preparation do they have to do before they even leave, let's say Canada or the US or wherever they're coming from? Is there any advanced preparation? That's a question I know I've received.
Well, basically the most important is to obtain some documents in the country of origin. It could be in Canada or in the United States. The most important is the birth certificate. For Canadians, the long version of birth certificate is the one that we need, because in Canada, you have two, the long version and the small, which looks like a carnet. So the second one, or the long version, is the one what we need. Please be aware that document will remain in immigration forever. They are not going to return to anybody. Therefore, if somebody needs it for any other purposes, please don't bring me the original that they received when they were born. Go to the vital records registry and apply for a new version. Okay, and that document have to be legalized in the country of origin. I'm going to send you more information about it, but basically in Canada, it is mandatory to do a path starting at the Global Affairs Canada and then to the Nicaraguan consulate. Both documents, or in both places, they will authenticate the document, okay, which is the legalization to be valid in Nicaragua. In the United States, it's easier. The, the person or the applicant have to send it to the Secretary of State from the state that the document was issued, and they will stamp on a small seal that it is called apostille or apostille, and that is according to the convention from for only documents. So that apostille means that that document is valid in Nicaragua. So that is the most important document. And if somebody is going to apply with their couple, it is important to bring the sometimes it's really important to bring the marriage certificate, or there is a union that was registered. So, well, the same, somebody is asking about the England birth certificate. In that case, you have to be apostille. I knew the experience of somebody that brought from England a beautiful birth certificate. It was the original, handwriting, etc. And this person is really regret, but is not receiving back. So,
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to mute you. Sorry, I was trying to just mute one person and I muted everybody. How do I unmute? Ah, cancel. What did I do? Shoot. So sorry.
okay, so I was saying that from British people that they have this beautiful birth certificate handwriting. Please be aware to obtain another version, okay, an updated or a new document that can be apostille and will stay forever at immigration, Nicaraguan immigration. Okay.
So Sarah had a question here. I don't know if you did answer it because I managed to somehow mute everybody. I am a Canadian citizen, but my birth certificate is from Iran. I came as a refugee in 1988. Is there something else that she can use because she doesn't have, as a refugee, she doesn't have a birth certificate? Is there another option?
No, I am afraid no. For people like Sarah, they have to provide additionally that the birth certificate, the naturalization certificate in Canada,
Naturalization.
or any other country in the United States, etc. But they have to provide both documents, the naturalization certificate and the birth certificate.
So is it okay in this case, as Sarah's case from Iran, if she had the birth certificate from Iran, but the naturalization certificate from Canada?
Yes, she have to provide both.
I see. Okay. All right.
Okay, super. Does anybody else have any questions related to that? With an unusual circumstance? Well, we have Paul here.
Paul, while we're folks are coming up with their questions, maybe if you could, can you talk a little bit about the residency from a point of view of the investor type of residency, and how that category works as far as people being able to work in the country if they receive that?
Yes, of course. Residency as a foreign investor is an option, or is an option that the immigration law provides to those people who invest money in Nicaragua and run a business. Therefore, the structure is the applicant have to form a corporation. To form a corporation, it is mandatory to be at least 2 people forming this corporation. So the corporation is the entity who is going to do the purchases in Nicaragua, and the applicants or the shareholder will be able to apply for the residency.
Can I just add to that? So in this case, we've been talking with Paul that we would be setting up the corporation through the strata. So that part will be done for them, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're shareholders within the strata with units, right, that are part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that covers them without any issue?
Yeah,
Yes.
so if we'll be refining the structure with we're working with Paul on refining that, but the upshot of it is that their investment will be coming in as an investment in a basically in a business, but it'll really be coming through their purchase of a unit.
Mhm.
So, and with that, with that type of residency, Paul, what are the guidelines or the restrictions or the privileges of that kind of residency?
Okay, the most important is that the residency is granted for 5 years.
5
So,
years?
yes.
5 years?
Yes, that is considered permanent residency. And after that, the applicant has to obtain, apply for the renewal, which is not complicated, but it's a path or a process, actually. It's a process that everybody has to follow. The option or the advantage is that the applicant is exonerated to pay a one-way ticket to return to their country. For those who apply for provisional residency, which lasts only 1 year, they have to pay or to do a deposit actually of a one-way ticket. When I said a deposit is because the government in theory is going to return that money when they stop being resident in Nicaragua, which is another process, but it is possible to get back the money.
So it's like a bond.
Yeah, exactly. So that for permanent residency, there are two kinds of permanent residency. For those who apply as a foreign investor or for those who apply as a retirees. So retirees is also considered a permanent residency for 5 years. The retirees, the law for retiree people have two options. For those who receive a pension from any, it could be a private or public pension, okay, from the government or from any organization, which is because this person is not working anymore, or another one which is considered as a rentier for those people who has investment. The perfect example is an annuity, okay, or annuity. If this person is producing for that investment more than $1,250 per month, will be able to apply only when they can prove that that investment and that income is going to be for the next 5 years.
So for those folks that are thinking not of perhaps buying a unit, but they're wanting to come and be part of the community as renters, they could perhaps apply under the retirement program if they have that much income, enough income through a pension or something, as you said.
I'm sorry, I was reading the question here. One more time, please.
Oh, I was just saying there are some people who are coming into our community that would be renting rather than purchasing. So they don't want to apply. Those folks would not be applying under the investor status, but some of them are retired. They could qualify and they have enough pension income or other income. So they were interested in that retirement option.
Actually, it is perfect because that is the easy way to apply for residency as a retiree.
Mm-hmm.
What if they have income from rental, like in Canada, they rent out their building, apartment or house or something? Is that considered similar to the annuity income or not?
If you can prove that the income will be for the next 5 years, that will be considered a private income, or in Spanish we call rentista or a rent.
Rentista?
Really close, but not the same. Okay, there is a question from Nikki.
Yeah.
Okay, when I said updated version probably is not the perfect word. It's a new document. Okay, so you have to go to the vital records department and obtain a birth certificate. So we in Spanish use a word when we said original. Original, we use that word that is different than to be a photocopy.
Mhm.
Usually, you can understand original like the first document that you received when you were born, and we don't need that. What we need is a document issued by the vital records, official document, signed and stamped that can be shown. The government do not accept photocopies. Okay, so if you take a photocopy or make a photocopy from the original document that you have, okay, it's not going to be accepted. So I'm sorry for the confusion. My mistake. Updated is not the proper word, but it's a new
Yeah.
birth certificate.
And
So,
and here in Canada, well, I think in most countries you can, if you can basically write or even go online to request a copy of your birth certificate, and they can issue one to you. So that would be the way to do it if,
yeah, I actually got one years ago from Montreal that I have in my possession. I don't have my very original one, but I have that one. So it didn't take that long. I'm sure even from Montreal, it didn't take that long.
The
So
most
we can start that now, people.
I'm sorry. The most important is that it should be the long version. For Canadians, it should be the long version. Okay,
Like
yes,
a paper version document, right?
not a carnet.
not the small card.
Not the small card. I know I have both, yeah.
We also had questions, not in the chat this moment, Paul, but before, people were interested in, some were interested in citizenship as well.
Mhm.
And so they were asking, what's that process? And do I need residency first, or how does citizenship work?
Right. Indeed, it must be the residency first. Okay, and the law states that it should be for 4 years. A person have to be resident for 4 years. After that, is able to apply for the citizenship, which is another process. And this person have to have the ability to speak and talk, speak and write English. This person have to prepare a test, okay, about the Nicaraguan culture. There is an option, I'm sorry, there is an exception for those who are married to a Nicaraguan that they can apply after 2 years. Okay,
Okay.
but
Mm.
if it's not the case, they have to wait for 4 years.
Yeah, we were told about the 2-year option. So that clarifies, that's
Yeah,
for,
that was on the internet too. I saw,
yeah,
Pat.
but
I
that's,
don't know, sometimes the internet's not accurate then.
yeah, the internet mentioned 2 years, but it didn't mention being married to a Nicaraguan. So that's a good, really important clarification.
And for example, in the internet, and probably the article that you read says that if you invest in a reforestation, you will get citizenship immediately. That is not true.
You would get which?
Citizenship if you invest in a
The business or something.
the business, but specifically in reforestation. Okay, so
Oh,
if you apply in a reforestation program, you will get citizenship immediately. That is not true.
right, right. Well, we weren't telling folks about reforestation. So, but we were moving or sort of sharing some information that it could be as little as 2 years, but it's nice to clarify that it would only be for folks that are married to a local Nicaraguan, so it'll be 4 years otherwise. So that's a good clarification.
And are there different benefits from being a resident to being a citizen that we should know about?
The only difference is that a citizen have political rights in Nicaragua. Foreigners with residency don't have rights to be involved in politics. I
Okay.
imagine anybody coming from abroad and being interested to run for a president in Nicaragua or any other situation or be part of a political party. Okay, so foreigners cannot be involved in politics. The Constitution and the immigration law prohibit. Okay, there are two other questions.
Yeah.
Okay, is that provincial or federal?
I think that was about the birth certificate. Is it?
Yes, but I don't know if there is a difference between, I guess that any city grant that document, okay, when you were born.
I think
And-
it's provincial because I got mine from Quebec.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
And that is a very good question. They have to speak in English or Spanish, okay? My pleasure, Mark. So the question of Kim is that if the document have to be in English or in Spanish, probably that is what she wanted to say. Document have to be translated. So there are different moments that you can translate those documents. For example, Canadians have to translate it before going to the Nicaraguan consulate. Okay? American and Europeans that are part of the Hague Convention can do the translation in their country or in Nicaragua. For Europeans, for example, so some Europeans have these documents issued in several languages, so they don't have to translate it because it's included Spanish or included in Spanish. But for example, a British, if the document is only in English, okay, he can translate it in the UK, or we can translate it here in Nicaragua. I am notary as well, so I as a notary have the authorization. After some years of being notary, we have the authorization to do translations. So I can prepare a read, okay, of translation, which is going to be valid.
Thank you. That's great. That clarifies that.
Another question, if I marry a Nicaraguan, or it's 4 years to get what kind of a status? Wife or, okay. I can understand the last part, but okay, if you marry to a Nicaraguan, you will be able to apply for residency, or I'm sorry, for citizenship after 2 years of being resident.
Mm.
Okay, if you marry to a Nicaraguan, you don't receive automatically residency. You have to apply under any of the programs that the law states. It could be foreign investor, it could be retirees, it could be as a worker, etc. But you don't receive residency automatically. To be able to apply as a spouse, which is another category, you have to wait 2 years after being married. So, and immigration is also going to request information about the source of income of the family. So if somebody is married to a Nicaraguan and have to wait 2 years, and after that, they have to prove the source of income. If the Nicaraguan is working, can support this person. But if it's not working, the other person have to support the Nicaraguan and support himself. Okay?
Okay. That's helpful.
And Paul, so
Question, wife or child taxpayer? I don't.
I don't know what that
I
means.
don't know what that means either. What do you mean,
Okay,
Christina?
okay. It's not by English. Okay. Maybe the Christina can tell us what.
Well, if I just know if I go to, well, when you come to Canada, for instance, you get a SIN number, and I've just applied for one in Spain and I get an NIE number. It's not exactly resident. What it does is it makes you a taxpayer because I'm going to be an inheritor. I'm going to inherit property or something. So it just makes you're in the system as a taxpayer, basically. So, and a taxpayer is chattel. So I was just being facetious about the wife thing because because that's what marriage was. It was to whatever. It was all about slavery in the monetary system. So it was just a joke, but maybe no one got that.
Not quite.
Either I could be a wife or I could be chattel. Let's see which one.
Paul, we won't have anybody applying to be a slave though.
No, exactly. Well, exactly. But that's what these numbers are. The registered numbers. That's what, ours is when we're born. So I don't know how it works in the developing countries so much as I do in all of the European countries and Canada and United States. As soon as you get a social insurance number, you're basically a slave, or your registered number at birth.
No.
Yeah, most people don't know that. It's kind of a little creepy thing about our tax system.
I know, but the thing is, if we actually knew it, we'd stop playing the game. That's
Yeah,
the key,
yeah,
right? That's
we didn't know
the
it if we didn't.
non.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a
Okay.
question, Paul.
Thanks.
And maybe others have the same question. So some of these people actually want to work in Nicaragua. So as a resident, and they might have a business, maybe online business, maybe they want to work with locals. And I know the other day we sort of off the record said that, some of us could do it just quietly with locals, but on the record, like legitimate business, online income can be generated from Nicaragua without any issue, right?
No, online business are not included under the law at this moment. So
Well, not included in terms of what you're saying your income is, but if you've already got your residency, let's say you got your residency, I don't know how long that took, can you still run an online business as long as you know?
you can run a business online,
Yeah.
but maybe it's not going to be the support to apply for residency. That is different. Okay, and regarding that taxpayer number, when you form a corporation, the corporation will receive a taxpayer number that we call RUC, or is an ID from the tax department. Okay.
Okay.
So we would be forming the corporations through our development, and that would have the number then that would be available for all of the people coming in and buying within the development.
We can explain more on this a little bit later too, because we're going to fine tune this.
Yes, I was going to say we'll have a whole list of those criteria too, as Paul was talking about birth certificates. So for everybody, all the folks coming in, we'll have a whole list of requirements. Paul sent a list to us already, but we're going to have a longer list that will be ready for folks to use as well. I'll be right back, Marcy.
Yep. Sorry, I just had my phone ringing. Was there any other comments or questions that we have here before Paul has to go? Go ahead, Paul.
Yes, I would like to tell them, everybody, that the government also requires to provide a police record and a health certificate. Excuse me, it's starting to rain in Managua.
A health certificate from where?
Okay, that is the question. So it could be from your country, or it could be granted in Nicaragua. That is why I didn't include it as an urgency to bring it from abroad. If you can provide it from abroad, that would be fantastic, but it's easier to obtain it in Nicaragua and you don't have to apostille or authenticate it.
Okay, so you just fill out a form.
Exactly, you can apply for an Interpol certificate in Managua, okay, and then that is going to be valid for 60 days. That will be good enough to submit it, okay, to immigration, or and the health certificate can be also obtained here in Nicaragua. If somebody provides or bring the local police certificate, that is going to be okay, is going to be acceptable.
Okay. I'm just gonna message somebody here.
Okay, a health certificate is a letter stating, the doctor has to state that you don't have any contagious disease and you are in good health. Of course, everybody can have some situations, some conditions, and if the doctor confirms that, saying that with the proper medication you will be okay, that's fantastic, but you don't have any contagious disease. So if you apply for that document in Nicaragua, it's going to be a very humble certificate granted for a local clinic from the government.
Great. Ooh, sorry.
Well, I guess that reply to Kim. Yes, you have to be from a doctor if he's coming from abroad. And if he's from Nicaragua, it's from the clinic from the government. Okay, I guess that Christina received them. Okay, why Christina? as I said, it could be both the Nicaraguan or the foreign document. If it's the foreign document, one more time, it's a letter from the doctor saying that you are in good health and you don't have any contagious disease. That's it.
So is
Okay.
this all, has this been in place forever? This has been something in Nicaragua? You've always had to have a health certificate to come in the country, or is this something new?
One more time, please.
Has this been in place, this requirement, for a long time in Nicaragua, or is this something fairly new?
It is always been in the law. If you
Okay.
apply for residency,
When you apply for residency, you have to be in, but what's acceptable? Like you have to be in good health? Is that what they're looking for, or?
yes, exactly. If you apply for residency, if you come to Nicaragua as a tourist, you are not required to bring that document.
Okay.
Tourists don't have to go through this.
If I may, it's Kathy here. Just to answer, like, I think it's pretty standard because when I apply for residency in Canada, it's exactly the same thing. They ask for health. You have to go see a doctor, and they have to say that you don't have any like communicable disease or anything like that. It's very standard for residency. So Canada does the same thing.
Yeah.
I've only been to a doctor once, and that was to give birth 31 years ago. I've never been to a doctor.
We don't have a doctor right now, but we can go and see one to get residency handled, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess we could do that in Nicaragua.
And there is no required vaccinations, as far as I know, in Nicaragua. We haven't heard of that. Paul, do you know anything different on that, or? we've
No,
never-
vaccination is not required. Okay, but people who is not vaccinated have to provide the COVID test at the airports.
Right. I heard recently they changed that, and I don't know if that's public knowledge, but I saw some announcement that if you were vaccinated, you didn't have to provide that COVID test anymore.
Exactly. Any of
Fairly
both.
recent.
Any of both.
Okay. Yeah.
Regarding
PCR or antigen, Sarah's asking.
somebody, Nick Jordan asked about the police record.
Oh,
So
okay, go back to that one, yeah.
The police record is a letter from the local police stating or confirming that you don't have any criminal record. Okay, what happens sometimes there are these DUI, for example, that is not a crime in Nicaragua. So it is something that is considered a crime. Okay, you are going to laugh, and I don't remember the proper name, but years ago, I helped a gentleman to obtain his residency, and he got it. Okay, he was a gentleman, and his records state that he was urinating in a wall, in a building.
Oh, God.
And he was so ashamed, okay, and he said, no, don't worry, that is not a crime in Nicaragua, you can do it.
Okay, good to know.
And the other, he had two really, and he was so ashamed. And the other was that he went to a window and somebody was dressing, you know, and he said that his friend said, hey, come on, let's see, let's watch here. And there is another word for that.
Peeping Tom, Peeping Tom?
Nothing like that. I was 18 and somebody called me. We were playing basketball and somebody called me. Okay, but it's in his it was in his record. Now he was at that moment 75 years old and he was a gentleman, of course, and so that is not a record. But okay, what is a record? Well, if you are being involved in drugs and prostitution, or somebody years ago, somebody asked me, okay, Paul, do you think that because I had a marijuana plantation in Florida is going to be an issue? And I said, don't even apply.
Really? Because he owned a marijuana plantation.
Well, if you were the owner of that marijuana plantation and it is in your record, my advice is do not apply.
For
Because
residency.
Yes, for residency. Yes, because it's not going to be granted. So you are going to lose your time, your money, and it's going to be a frustration. So it is better to say the truth. Okay.
So he could be, how long can you stay in the country as a tourist?
as a tourist. Okay, I was going to reply that. Canadians, Europeans, Americans, because there are some difference with other countries, okay, can stay 90 days, okay, with a tourist visa. After that, you can renew that visa for 3 times. You have to apply every month for an extension. So in total, it will be, without leaving the country, 180 days.
Mm.
For those who are going to come once per year and going to stay 3 months or 2 months, that is not necessary. It is not necessary to apply for residency.
Mhm.
So, people from Iran, for example, they have another category. So they receive another kind of visa when they arrive on, or they have to apply from their country. For example, I don't remember who was, but the person who is originally from Iran, but now has a citizenship in Canada, she is Canadian. It doesn't matter if she was born in Canada, I'm sorry, in Iran. She is now Canadian and she will receive 90 days at the airport.
So if you get your 90 days and you left to go, let's say, across the border to Costa Rica and come back and apply again, or do you have to leave the country to apply? Can you do it within the country?
You can apply after the 90 days and get 3 extensions of 30 days.
Okay,
So after the 180 days, you can go to Costa Rica, do the border run and return and get another 90 days.
gotcha.
And then another 3 extensions. So you can stay 1 year in the country. To be honest with you, there are some people who lives in that way. The problem is that immigration sometimes is not going to be happy and start to expect that people apply. So they, at the border, when they arrive, they will tell you, hey, apply for your residency, legalize your situation. So they are going to push you a little bit. And sometimes it's not going to be comfortable.
Mhm. Okay, well, that sounds fair enough. Yeah. What other questions do we have here? Does anybody want to pose one? And then we'll move along to our presentation as well.
Yeah, there's lots
if-
of new folks, few new
There's-
folks.
Yeah, there are many new folks. I want to share, some of the things that we're doing in our project, but if there's anything related to residency that we haven't covered, we can also send out a bulletin with the key points from today. I have a recording of this. I can also send the recording out. And then if you do want to have a consultation with Paul, he is available.
Oh, yes, of course. Let me write my email address.
Yeah, put it right in the chat here for anybody who might want to contact you and ask specific things.
Okay. There was another question here. Okay, Sarah is asking regarding the PCR test or the antigen. Is the PCR the requested by the authorities of Nicaragua?
Paul, somebody said to repeat about travel visa. So you can reapply 3 times for a total of 90 more days after your original 90 days, correct?
One more time. Give me a second, please.
Yeah.
I can do it in Spanish, 2 things at the same time. Going down and walking at the same time, but in English, I need more.
Okay.
I learned English in summer in courses here, so I'm not been living in Canada or the United States. So go ahead, please, regarding the visa. So it's 90 days when you arrive and 3 extensions of 30 days each one. So at that time, you will have the right to be in Nicaragua 180 days. If you leave the country and come back to Costa Rica or to Canada, wherever you have to go, you will get another 90 days. The exception is Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, because it's part of the C4 treatment, which consider that you are in the same region. So it should be Costa Rica, Mexico, United States, Canada, Europe, or any other country. Okay, South America, no problem. But if you go to Honduras, for example, they will consider that you are in the same region. So it's not going to give you another 90 days.
Okay, Honduras is the exception.
Honduras, El Salvador, y Guatemala.
And Guatemala. Okay,
El Salvador.
great. Well, and Kim's created a document from Paul's website already, Kim Rogerson here. So we are going to follow that and put that in our messaging. We can even put some of that up on our website. So thank you so much, Paul, for answering some of the questions that we've been getting. And I'm sure there'll be some people reaching out to you as well. And we're
We'd
going
love
to
maybe
continue.
bring you on again sometime a little further down the line when as more
Yeah.
folks come into the community. I'm sure they'll have some more questions as well.
And some of us will be there in person and meet you in Managua sometime in the later part of the fall, late
Perfect.
October, November. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you for the invitation. Nice
Oh,
to meet
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Great
so much,
information.
Paul. Really appreciate it.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So shall we continue on with our introduction to some of you are new and have not seen a PowerPoint, and we're happy to send the PowerPoint to you, but I've got it here, so I might as well pull it up.
Pull that up. I'll just mention while Marcy's doing that. So we
I
wanted
can.
you guys to meet Paul. Paul will be working with us and essentially helping everybody within the community with their applications. So we're structuring things right now with him for residency so that people who do come in and who purchase a unit can apply for a form of residency that actually allows you to work in the country and actually do business within the country with people and businesses there. So that would give us the maximum flexibility for all of our folks coming in who may want to or end up doing businesses in the country or dealing directly with folks there. So we're really excited about that. And I'll turn it over to Marcy in the PowerPoint.
Okay, yes, I'm trying to move things around so I can see my screen. All right, so yeah, I'm not going to spend too long on this. As I said, we can send this out to people, but I want to give you a bit of an overview. So it's an oceanfront freedom lifestyle community. If you've been invited here, hopefully you're part of a freedom movement and understand what that means to all of us. After the last few years, we were seeking destinations in the world, started in Mexico looking there, and then ended up in Nicaragua. And that's quite the story. I'll save that for another day, but it really was out of nowhere. I'd never heard much about Nicaragua until our friends told us they owned this beautiful piece of land. And that's how this project got started. And Playa Tesoro, 8 of us went down. Kim on this call was with us, Patrick, myself, Kathy, and a few others. And it was quite an extraordinary experience, which we will share a little bit about. So let me just go to the next slide here. Hang on. And I always like this image because this is my dream I'm sharing with you guys, is farm to table. There's a farm on the property. And that was one of the driving forces for a lot of us leaving Canada, was worrying about what was it going to be like as people started to hear about supply chain issues and food. And being a foodie and chef, I really thought, wow, to have a farm right behind a beautiful resort on a beach, what could be better? So I'll share more on my dream later, but that's part of it, is to have these farm to table dinners in our beautiful resort. Pat, do you want to talk a little bit about the community and the purpose? Maybe I'll jump this one over to you.
Sure. I think you started touching on it a little bit in terms of the freedom aspect of it. I think really a simple way for folks perhaps who are coming in for the first time and hearing about the community. By freedom, it's just really about respect for everybody's rights and our rights of autonomy over our bodies. I think a lot of people after 3 years that we've all gone through are tired of mandates and restrictions and all of those things. So really the part of the nice thing about Nicaragua in particular is they've never had mandates. And it's a very tolerant situation and a very nice situation. They're happy to have people come in who are contributing to the society, who are bringing opportunity and working with them. They're extremely welcoming. And so really we've been bringing together a lot of folks who are looking for a freedom community, looking for a place that will be tolerant. That's part of our charter that Marcy will speak to in a moment. And really, you know, we're we don't want to just come and live in a gated community. I think a lot of people have reflected that they want to come someplace they can be part of the larger community, and the local community, and feel part of that. I think a lot of us have felt sort of separated from our own cultures here, and by the political situation, and ostracized, and really not looking to go to a place where you already feel separate again. So the lovely thing about this is that they're part of our team, with our partners, has been down there for years, has wonderful connections in the community. When we were down there, we met they took us through and introduced us to people in the community. We saw what they'd already built there, and the relationships they had with people, and the programs they're doing, after school programs, and recreational training programs and things with the local kids and stuff. So there's all kinds of opportunity to really be part of the larger Nicaraguan community as well. And they're so welcoming, and they're so loving and friendly. And Salinas, which is the closest town, is just down the road, has a local market. So we really want people to feel free and feel part of the larger community as well.
Yeah, and there's going to be initiatives for all of us. We are already getting so many ideas for businesses that are needed in the community, services that people can provide, products that can be exported, imported, and so on and so forth. So that conversation's been happening ongoingly. And so it's not just about moving there, but actually creating, or maybe some of us reinventing ourselves. So that's exciting. And our mission is simple. It's really protecting the rights and freedoms of every member, including the visitors. So whoever comes, whether a renter, whether a guest, whether a buyer, they understand that we're protecting and respecting our freedom of choice with regards to health and so on. And this has been, a big question a lot of people had is, how do we vet people? Well, we meet them on Zoom and we talk to them, and we know that they're on the same page as us. And if it ever came to light that there was somebody who rented to somebody who didn't respect and did violate those freedoms, they would be asked to leave. And so we are, going to ask people to sign a charter agreement when they do come to rent, even as a guest. And these rules are minimal, but it's to protect us. And that's why it's so important. I'll go on. We talked about this subject, so I'm going to leave that for now and keep moving on. And we're going to correct that slide. So yeah, in a world where everything's changing, we're looking at this incredible beach and those turtles that every year they have a release of the turtles. I believe it starts in November and goes right through till January. It's a spectacular activity. People from all over the world, when they hear there's turtle sanctuaries in these countries, they want to be there for that. So that could be good for people who own property there during those seasons to rent out. That's a high season. And the weather is beautiful, balmy. For most of that, dry season, it's not unbearably hot, but there are at least 1 month, I know, I've been told, April is very hot, and you can see the annual temperatures on another slide. And there's some horses on the beach, and that's one of my other dreams. I love that slide. And body surfing we did while we were there in the rain. Didn't matter. We were out there walking, we were body surfing, we were swimming. So rainy season or sunny season, there's tons to do. Absolutely tons.
Even in rainy season, the sun comes out every day, and it's balmy even when it's raining. The rain comes and goes, but it's like Marcy said, you can walk, you horseback ride, do all kinds of recreation there. So it doesn't stop you in the rainy season.
No, it's beautiful. And it's warm rain. So it's not like freezing, damp, cold here in North America, we have up in Canada. And this is where Playa Tesoro is, on this beautiful stretch of beach. We're building our first development here, and there's already talk of another one and possibly 2 more. So this is going to be much more than a small community. In the end, we're really looking, could be a few hundred people in the next few years in this area that are part of this community. And it's just the beginning, because who knows, once we've created a template that's workable and fun and works for people, it could be anywhere, but we love this country. That estuary, we'll show you a video in a few moments what's behind the property, but this is where the property is, and this beautiful 14-mile-long estuary provides incredible activities, fishing and boating and swimming and surfing and everything you can imagine. There's a lake here. The city, Managua, is about an hour and 10 minutes from our property, and that's where you could fly into. That's the capital city, good sized population. And then Leon, where's Leon on this map? I can never find it. It's up hidden somewhere here. There we go. Leon is a population of about 500,000, and I heard there's 14 universities in that city. So people come from all over, even all over Central America, but especially in Nicaragua, lots of students, and they love coming in and practicing English with us, and we can practice Spanish. So it's a pretty neat area that we're situated in, with two great cities nearby, and even Puerto Sandino over here is a population of about 18,000, and there's an incredible surf break there we just learned about from a friend of ours who has property there as well. Did you want to add anything there, Pat, on the area?
No, not. I think you covered that quite well, and I think when people see the animations we've created of the exterior, you're also going to see some of that from the animation and from our rooftop deck. We can show you a little bit from there, the view from facing the ocean and also facing the other way to the estuary.
Yeah, and these are just some of the activities that we know of. And so, you know, wellness retreats is on our radar. We're already getting some very heavy interest from people who want to do retreats in this area. So we'll have a wellness center. We'll get more into that when we show you the slide, the actual video animation where that's going to be located. And we'll have pickleball for Kim, and we'll have yoga, and there's everything you can imagine, you know, volcano tours, the shopping, the restaurants, the bars, snorkeling. It's like a country just loaded with activities. There's really
Marcy
not
mentioned horses too, and you can actually, the fellow behind our property keeps horses there, and you can buy a horse for $100.
or rent a horse.
Or rent a horse. So, and also the beaches are there's kind of a hard packed clay, but sand and very sandy walking out. They're very the ocean just walking out is quite shallow for a while, so it's great for strolling in the water, for body surfing, and also because of the clay on the beach, it's easier. It's sort of hard packed, so it's really easy to ride ATVs up there, and some folks will use those to ride up the beach away and then cut over to the town if you want to go shopping in the market.
Yep. And health is a big question for people. So this was something we come across not that long ago. This hospital was built, and as you can see, they have, you know, facilities for surgery, cardiology, urology. Is like really sophisticated medical care and very, very affordable. So that's important for a lot of us, that we know we can get access to that. And with Leon being about a half an hour from us by that road, we know that it's pretty good. And when you also have on the property itself, we'll have, you know, a clinic, there will be some treatments available, you know, massage therapy and colonics and detox and other things that we've been talking about, because a lot of us are in the wellness industry that are coming into this community, quite a number of us.
A couple of people were asking us before about the healthcare in terms of the system, and you can get expat insurance. You can actually get insurance within the country, and you can get expat insurance. But what a lot of expats and folks like us do is they actually just do pay as you go, because it's so inexpensive that you'll probably find it most cost effective just to, if you do go into a regular hospital, it's just to pay a fee for whatever and they can do, as Marcy said, it's a very modern facilities. They're very up to date. They do almost every procedure you can think of, and anything that they don't do, you can probably just hop across the water to Mexico that has everything the modern medical science can do is done in Mexico and done cheaper than here. So most of it can be, you could get those services in the health
Even
system there,
dental
and all
care.
the alternative care we'll have through the wellness.
And even dental care is much more affordable. Like I find the dentist prices just keep going up and up and up in Vancouver. It's ridiculous now what I'm paying, what I used to pay and what I'm paying today. So now we're going to talk about our property and some of the options that you have with 2-bedroom, 2-bath suites starting at 150 and 850 to 900 square feet, which is a fairly good size in this country, given that most of us will be living a good portion of the year outdoors, not like in Canada where you're stuck indoors so many days of the winter, whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. It's, you know, it's definitely a lot of space for what we found. And we were down there staying in a house, Pat, Kathy, and I, that was about 600 or 650 square feet. And it was plenty of room because we spent a lot of time outdoors.
We're on our
Right?
deck, where we're enjoying the pool, where you're sitting, basically relaxing. Friends are coming by. You're watching. You're looking at the ocean and really enjoying the outdoors.
Yep. And these were launch prices that we set several months ago. They are coming to a close just after Labor Day. We'll announce that. But they were, you know, very attractive for a lot of people looking to get in. Early adopters always get the best deal. And so we wanted to make it very enticing. And it's still a very below market price. Even looking at Nicaragua properties, we know that we're still way under market price, even with a price increase that we will have, which will probably be announced in like about a week or so. And the 3-story idea is because you can take 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, one on top of the other, and then have a private deck on the top floor, which is outdoor living space. But that gives you 2,750 square feet, which is pretty awesome for that price. And this country, we're talking beachfront properties. So not very many places left in the world where you can get actual beachfront, literally walk out your door and be on the beach.
Just
And
as
that's our
a comparative,
projected start.
yeah, I was just going to throw in, just as a comparative example, we stayed at a 5-bedroom house in San Juan del Sur in the south, and that was going, I think, for
I think it was 750
700,000.
or
Yeah.
750,000 US. Yeah.
So we're looking at, you could get a 4-bedroom, and some families are looking at that. One group got a 4-bedroom, and so it's less than half the price of what they're charging just south of us.
Yep. All right, now we can show a little bit of a rendering of what the building looks like. It's not an exact rendering because this was done a little while ago. So we have a little more updated stuff in the video. So I think I'll just skip to the strata. And these are some of the units that actually there's a few more that have been held in the last few days. So we haven't updated this slide, but they are starting to go. And I think people are realizing it's a pretty good deal and they want to hold a unit before they're all the, you know, they're all going to be great views, because even these 2 side buildings, people think that they're kind of blocking, but they're actually way out here. And just for the purpose of this drawing to fit everything in, so you could see the numbers of the suites, we moved them in, but they're actually way out here. So you would not be blocking anyone's view in building 2 or building 3. Do you want to say something, Pat?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, they're out further to the side than they show in the diagram. And we've got about 25% of the units sold now, but probably another 5 to 10 people are looking at units now as well. So they are going pretty quick, especially the 2nd and 3rd floor.
And the corner units. There's still a few corner units left, which I think are great because they have a little extra patio. So instead of just this deck, they have a wraparound deck here. So that's probably where you get up to closer to 900 square feet. So this is just, again, a rendering that we had done. There are some changes we will show you on the video to get an idea what we're going to do to tweak this drawing a little more. This gives you a pretty good idea of kind of scheme, colors, tropical, you know, the flavor, not exactly this design, but close. Like we'll be doing things that people can choose a tile. Like if you don't like that color tile, you'll have a choice of maybe 4 or 5 different tile colors. And then the furniture packages, which are not included in the purchase price, but they are a very affordable package. So if you just literally want to walk into your place, open the door, and it's already furnished when you come, that is an option. And there'll be different price points for those furniture packages.
And if you want to shop for your own furniture and some of your interior furnishings, it's really unique in the country. Like all the furniture shops are down one long street just outside of Lyon. So they're all in a row. So we'll also be taking people who want to do that. We'll be probably sending them on a tour with one of our folks so they can actually go and look and see what's available themselves.
And some of the local materials are just beautiful. The wood is quality. It's very hard wood. There's some beautiful, like we saw tile, we saw furniture hand woven, and it's really beautiful stuff and not that expensive compared to like North American prices. This is just a comparison down the road, Grand Pacifica Resort. And you can see on here, it's very small, but it's 296,000, almost 300,000 for a similar size. And this is up on a bit of a cliff here. So they're not literally walk out to the beach. They have to walk around down a path. So that's what's in the area, as I mentioned. So we know we're still very much in a good bargain price for this time frame in Nicaragua. But I think in a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, our property values will be definitely at least a 30 to 50% bump in a couple of years because of what's happening in the country.
They will have appreciated significantly by the time people take possession.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what the realtor is telling us. So there's somebody, this is not the best picture. I apologize. I thought I had a better one of this nearby rental, but you can see the kind of pricing that they're charging to rent a unit. So if you do purchase and you want to rent it out when you're not there, it's obviously a pretty good income for some of these folks at $1,400 a week or $6,375 a month. I think that's pretty high. But if it's what's been done in the country and in that area, then that means, you know, we actually can get a decent price to rent it out to people who come to visit. And that could be locals as well as, you know, family and friends of your neighbors who might need a place. This is where we stayed, right here in this little house with the pool. And next door, Kim and Layla, I think that was the one that had the good Wi-Fi, right? We had no Wi-Fi. We didn't realize, but the Wi-Fi is very strong. So we found that out. And these are rentable, and we can actually negotiate some prices for people while we're waiting for the project to be built. Some people may choose to be right in Playa Tesoro in one of these homes, which is just a few minutes down the road from where our property is. And anything we want to add to that, Pat? You want to share anything?
no, I was just thinking maybe if you could, should we show them the animations? Just to
I can
see
do
the,
that. Yeah. Do you want to pull that up?
Well, I actually don't have the same processor on. I had to use my
Oh,
backup
okay.
laptop because
I
the
have
other
it here. Let me just
You have
pull
it
it up
handy?
then.
Okay.
Let's show the video.
So
That's
I'll
what-
explain what Marcy's going to show you in a second. So we created some animations, basically walkthrough animations to show you what the property is, how it will look like on the outside and the inside. And so they're based on the designs and our plans with our builders. And I think they'll give you a good idea actually of what it will look like when you're there.
Okay, I'm going to share it again because sometimes it kicks me out, you know. All right, here we go. This is the exterior.
So that's obviously the pool area and this is all facing the ocean. We just passed the yoga platform. And you can see a bit of the ocean from that angle as well, the pools, the jacuzzi, the juice bar. And our elevators take us up to our rooftop deck. And so from here, maybe Marcy, once it goes to the left, you can pause it just as there you go. Do you want to describe what we see there?
Well, that's our farm that has been in use up until COVID a few years ago. It was an active farm, beautiful fruit, vegetables, everything you could want. And then when COVID hit, of course, people were not traveling. So it kind of got, you know, left aside for the time being, but it's going to be rebooted by us. And behind the farm is the marina. And that was already started, as well as a restaurant and a clubhouse for our members and their guests. and also people coming in from the community who just maybe want to have a meal in a nice restaurant on a beautiful marina. So this is already in the works with our partners. And then there'll be another building over here, which will be a wellness space or wellness center. And we'll be doing all kinds of interesting sort of healing modalities, because as I mentioned before, a lot of the members coming into this community have a wellness background. So there'll be a plethora of healing things to, go and enjoy and pamper yourself, and maybe products for sale as well. Like I think one of our buyers looking to open up a store and have all kinds of great products. And there's many people with different business ideas, even somebody who's joined in this community who wants to do boat rentals and fishing charters. So all of these things are coming because of the people that are sharing what they want to do. So we'd love to hear what you want to do as well.
And there will be also what we've been talking about is creating rentable space, because people want to, many are talking about starting businesses and doing other things as well. So there'll be rentable space in that whole clubhouse wellness center area down there on the left of that animation there.
Okay, I'm going to continue to the last little bit. You can see the rest of this beautiful view. So picture yourself up there having a nice, I don't know, rum punch or mojito with your friends. That's what I'm envisioning.
And that deck is a common deck for all the residents of the property. You can have dinners, parties out there. It'll also be set up for events, so people can rent it if they want to do a retreat or a workshop. So that's a wonderful, you can see the view from there. It's going to be a lovely place to host events for the community or for your family or friends. Really looking forward to using that deck for a lot of good stuff.
Just to let people know, the water is not that close to the pool. I was always wondering, like in the design, it looks like it's right there, but it's a little further out, and it's very, very shallow for a long ways out. So very safe, no riptides, easy for body surfing. And further up the beach in that area I mentioned, Puerto Sandino, is more for real surfer types. This is like more just enjoyable swimming, and you can walk on that sand for a long time. It's beautiful, level beach, and you can drive on it. It's hard packed. I think Pat mentioned that. People often go into town that way. They go by the beach. So I'll just let that finish.
So that's the exterior. Do you want to pull up the interior now?
Yep, I will do that. Let me just interiors. Here we go. This again, this is a rough idea. I'll pause it when we get to the kitchen to explain some of the changes. So beautiful deck. Everyone has a deck.
Balcony.
I'm just going to pause it here because we have already gotten some feedback from an architect friend. And so we're going to do some changes in the kitchen. So it's going to be a lot more open. And this, what I would call a peninsula here, is going to be an island. So they'll be able to walk through both sides and around. And there'll be some bar stools here. And the stove is actually going to be over here, and with a overhead fan that just moves up when you need it and closes down. So there's a few little tweaks that we want to do. And this area here, just to continue on, is where the laundry room is, and there will be a door. So it will not be open like that. And there may just be some minor changes here as well without shelving like that. We may have, that's where the fridge might go instead of where it is, as you'll see as we come around the corner here. A few minor tweaks there. And the hallway as well, these alcove spots. We're going to remove some of these walls and have it just be a lot more open. There'll still be an alcove for a desk or a work area.
Workspace, yeah.
Yeah, it's still going to be there because a lot of us are still working online businesses or different businesses from our homes, and we're not retired. As we come down the hallway to the first bedroom on the left, again, beautiful view. To see it from every room. And then the main bathroom just down the hall there. Again, these are not exact. We will change some of the fixtures, but this gave you a little bit of an idea of kind of the tone, the feel. I think they did a pretty good job though. And there's your master bedroom. Again, beautiful deck. And on the corner suites, this may be a wraparound deck. So you get a view behind where the estuary is and the marina. And this area here, we're also making a slight change. So instead of having a small bathroom here and a walk-in closet area, we're just going to keep a regular closet and add maybe 2 sinks or a vanity in here and have this
Yeah.
be a bigger bathroom.
Open up that bathroom area for sure.
A lot of us feel like we're not going to need that many clothes for a walk-in closet in the tropics anyway. So there you go.
And that shows you the layout from an overhead view.
Oh, sorry, I meant to stop it. Stop. Okay. All right. Shall we continue on here?
Yeah, yeah. I think we might have got a message as well.
Was somebody asking a question on here?
Oh, I think that was on the website. That's okay.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, so back to my PowerPoint here. So yes, we stayed in these homes. We talked about that. And there are some other rentals that we're looking at for people that may want to go down early. We're looking at Granada, which is a couple of hours away. And we're looking at Leon. So it depends what people want to do and when they want to go down. Some people may be there a few months a year, snowbirds. Some people will be living there. And I'm guessing that all of that's going to sort itself out. So we'll have a property management team that will help you if you do want to rent your space out. This is going to be handled by them. And so, you know, there'll be a small fee to pay the property management person to manage it all, but then it's not on your, you know, your holiday time managing that. So I think that's important to have it done right. And also to make sure that the people coming into the community are the right people that we want.
And as Marcy mentioned, we are looking at a couple of places. Leon is one, Granada is another. Also, we'll look at Salinas, which is beach. We're going to look at these. We're looking at some properties there, and we have to go down, I think in October for some business anyway. So we were going to go and scout out some of these properties and find a nice place that people can come, because some folks want to come down and live and get used to the culture and basically be in a non-restrictive culture even before the buildings are done. So they're looking at coming down either at the end of this year, beginning of next year, sometime next year to start living. So we're going to actually have 1 or 2 places where there are folks within our community living close together. We looked at one building as an example with which is sort of that hacienda sort of style, a villa with a pool and different suites. So that's just kind of an idea where we could get 3, 4, 5, 6 suites, maybe even a suite as a treatment room or treatment suite for people who are doing healthcare and live together, you know, be in touch, do dinners, lunches together, hang out. So we're looking forward to setting up a place like that, probably 1 or 2 like that, but before the end of the year, so people have those options.
Somebody's phone is ringing in the background.
Yeah, it's mine.
Oh, it's yours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we talked about the Wellness Collective, and there's already a couple of people in our group that are working on a plan to do some advanced retreats to get branded here in Canada and then take it down to Nicaragua as soon as we possibly can find a location. So when we go down in October, we'll be looking for that so we can start that process before the building is even up. And we talked about the farm and the fully functional farm. That's fantastic. People like Rachel and Matt, who supported us when we were down there and toured us around, had us picked up and dropped off and taken wherever we wanted to go and gave us an introduction into the community. They've been living there 6 years. This is the couple that has handled the property management rentals for our partners. And they've just, started, they have goats and they're going to be making their own meat products. They're going to be making all kinds of cheeses. And so you can catch a horse and buggy and go to a neighboring farm until ours is up and going, and pick up fantastic food. And we had some of the best fish I've ever made in my life. Pat cleaned it and I cooked it. It was really
It was
good.
delicious. Linda was just asking about folks going down this fall, any approximate dates, and basically, we're just starting to figure out when everybody's planning on going down. There was one meeting on Sunday. People are starting to talk about when they may go down. Some folks are going down, it sounds like, to Mexico. There's a few going down
In September.
September. So, and we'll talk more about that with folks who are thinking of going down to see, but also perhaps to take advantage of things that can be obtained there. So, but we're going to create a little bit of a blueprint of when folks are going down, and our goal, as we were saying about our trip down there, is to establish 1 or 2 properties that people can then come to, and we'll be in touch with the landlords down there once we've picked those spots. So, people will know that we've vetted them already, and that they'll have an idea of what's available if they want to see if they can pre-book something, and we'll get some interior photos and stuff so you know what you're renting. So we're going to try and just make that process as smooth and as easy for folks to come down and live there before the buildings are done, and for the community to start to come together there as well.
Yeah, and for those that want it, I mean, there's ways to even earn an income. We're looking at all different ways to kind of help support and nurture entrepreneurship, and we've been exploring many ideas. So it's not just to be a beach bum. We're actually going to be doing some work while we're there and helping other people create that when they come. So this is just a quick little weather climate for the year. You can see the hottest temperatures ranging from 73 Fahrenheit
Do you
to
want to
86.
share that, Mars?
Oh, it's not showing?
No.
Oh, what happened? Okay, went away. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it goes away sometimes. Okay, now you can probably see it, right?
There you go.
I'll just bring it back here. So yeah, it's fairly comfortable. I never found it overly humid. The dry season between January and June, when we were there in May, it was really wet, unusually wet, but it was still a joyful experience. We really enjoyed the dramatics of the thunderstorms and things that were going on, and it was fun. And even with those rainy days, we got several hours of sunshine. So we were able to enjoy the beach and walking and swimming and all that kind of stuff. So
And people have asked us about the weather systems there, and are there
hurricanes or
hurricanes? So the short answer to that is no.
no.
Not on our coast. We're on the west coast, so there's no hurricanes on our side. They're on the that passes up the east coast. So
yeah, we're on the west coast here, and there's no hurricanes.
yeah.
No. So yeah, moving along. Obviously, we are going to help people with transitioning to life and the safety issues people have asked us about. We could go on and on and on about the stories of people who've lived down there, and they say they feel safer there than Canada. And I'm talking even families with young kids that felt absolutely safe, and there's really no crime. They're rated one of the best countries for safety in Central America.
The safest in Central America. One of the
Yeah.
safest in the world.
It is the safest, yeah, in Central America. You're right. So culture, I mean, there's some people that we've got in our community that are artistic people like myself and Pat and Kathy, or music team, and we're going to have music and we're going to have arts and all these things. But in the city of Leon, which I didn't get to go to last time, I hear there is quite a lot. There's festivals like in lots of parts of Latin America, and we'll be bringing culture there as well. That's one of my goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so safety, no crime, no guns. In fact, they're very concerned when they see guns in that country. They don't want to have people, using them. And we've heard stories about them saying to our partner down there, you can have a gun, but take the bullets out. So we're joking about that, but it really is true. They're very humble people. They're faith-based. This is not a cartel country. If anybody hears that stuff, it's just made up news. It's not true. We were there and we felt so safe and really welcomed and treated like not like gringos, just like people that were happy to see us. They know we're bringing some good things in and we're going to be very active in the community. So the only thing you need at the present time is, as Paul mentioned, is the PCR test for entry into the country if you're unvaccinated. And I did read that. Now I'll double check that. But for the vaccinated folks, I believe they don't need a PCR test at this time, but we'll double check that.
The other thing too is, as Marcy was just saying, you may hear or read something about the country, and when it comes to Nicaragua, there's a lot of misinformation that's deliberately put out by the states and the global forum. But because since, I guess, essentially the Nicaraguan Sandinista Contra thing back in the 80s, the states has been big enemies of Nicaragua. So they regularly put out misinformation. It's not true. They'll say it's unsafe, cartels, which is all bogus. They're not there. It is safe. We, just as an example, we were driving back across the southern border to get a flight we had booked in Costa Rica. And on the day that we were driving back across the border, there was a big news report that was misinformation put out by the states that Nicaragua was having refugees streaming across the border. People were streaming out because of political unrest and streaming out across the border. We were crossing, but because they showed pictures on the international news of like hundreds or thousands of people streaming across the border. We were going across that border on that day. There was us and a few trucks. That was it. So you can't believe that stuff that they write there.
It's a disinformation network, just like here.
Hey, one thing on the cultural front,
Yeah.
Marcy mentioned we're bringing some culture. My wife Kathy and I had a band here in Vancouver, and so if you play an instrument, we're starting the band again in the community. So we're looking for musicians or wannabe musicians. So let us
wannabe singers, huh?
Yeah, let us know if you play something or you have an interest. Let us know. We're looking for musical folks.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here because we're coming on to the 8 o'clock hour and we have another Zoom, Pat.
Yeah.
So how to get to Playa Tesoro, there's many methods. And if you have questions on which airline would we recommend, we can talk to you further on that. And also if you need support around getting in or out of the country, that's a private conversation we can also have with you, because we know all the ways around whatever system they want to throw in our path to keep us out. They didn't keep us out. We got through no matter what they did. Whatever, PCR test didn't stop us. Nothing stopped us. So we got in, and it was, for most part, it was fairly straightforward. And now that we know what to avoid, we can help people avoid any issues with, any challenges. And again, what Paul was talking about earlier, to be prepared is the best thing, to actually prepare ahead, having the right documents and so on. And this is something we just started talking about, joint venture business opportunities. And we're going to share more on that on a document that will come out to you after this call today. I really wanted to put together the referral program as well that we could send to everybody, because that's how the units are selling through friends and family and people that are excited and they want to be part of this. So we could have gone to a realtor, we didn't. So we'd rather put money in your pocket, because you'll be looking for people like you that feel the way you do to share this community with us. And so there's a very nice referral program, appreciation fee, and we'll send that out to anybody who's interested to do that. And we encourage you to do that, because it makes such a difference when it's your people in your community. And the benefits of ownership, well, we talked a little bit about that with Paul, and he's mentioned the things that you're going to need, and it's all right here. So I can send PowerPoint out as well. What else?
And we'll have a comprehensive list of everything.
Yeah, we talked about the retiree program.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. There's the website. It's gonna be updated with some new things in the next couple of weeks, Pat, right?
Mhm.
We're loading it up and with the background on the development, construction team, all of those things that people want to know who these guys are, how are they building this, you know, what are the provisions for safety and structural support, and all the questions that you have, we can answer them. And those would probably be best answered on a one-to-one Zoom, because it's just, there's a lot. There's a lot there that we've been researching for months to make sure that this is going to be well built and that you will be happy in this particular part of the world. So I think on that, the next step, like we said, you can schedule a Zoom call with us, or a phone call, or we can meet with you if you're in Vancouver. And we'd love to talk to you, whether or not you're a renter or an owner, and what you want to do when you're down there as well. And that completes the PowerPoint. Somebody had a question down here. Oh, no, it's a comment. Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to add, or you guys still there? We lost you.
Yeah, I was just looking to see, and we don't have another question specifically about the development, but yeah, we're really looking forward to what seems to work really well when folks are curious or interested potentially in the community is getting on a Zoom call, and that really is the best opportunity to ask any question you have and bring up concerns and so forth, and just walk through every consideration that may come up about either the move or traveling safely, crossing borders safely, all the rest of it, living down there, and really everything about the community planning forward. There's so much more. Marcy referred to a lot of it, but we can't go into all the detail, but certainly there's going to be fantastic business opportunities and for people there and for income that we're looking at creating as well. So
yeah, it's a community. So that's the basic premise behind this. It's not just buying a piece of real estate and going to a foreign country. It's actually building a network of people that want to help each other navigate this next chapter of our lives. And many of us have been through, you know, pretty challenging couple of years, and we need this. We know we need this and we want this. I think that's what's the driving force for everybody.
So Marcia, if you want to unmute people,
I
then,
can ask everyone to
and if
unmute.
anybody has any last questions they want to ask verbally.
I don't know how to unmute everybody at one
Kathy
time.
said, thanks, guys. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, and this recording
Thank
can
you,
be
my
sent out
support.
to you as well. Hey, Kath, there you are. Yeah, so I guess I can stop the recording now, and let's just hit